Got Batak in the building. Batak and family. It's a beautiful thing to see y'all. Got a lesson, the title of this evening's lesson. Y'all ready? The title of this evening's lesson is Get Your Mind Right. Somebody said marriage. So I know he gonna, nah. It's Get Your Mind Right. I'm gonna call it out before somebody else might. I usually always do lessons fresh. The one time I decided to pull up something from the archives, the brother said, "You did that lesson." So I guess this was a Tuesday lesson. Tweaked a little bit. It's never the same, right? So most high willing, this will be something that we need to hear. All right, how many of y'all ready to get your mind right? How many of y'all need to get your mind right? Get your mind right. All right, let's go to Psalms. Let me get some scriptures first before we go to Psalms. Let's before we get Psalm, let's go to I think I want Ecclesiasticus. I believe chapter 30. Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and 21. Let's get 21 through 25. Can y'all hear me well? All right, for sure. Yes, sir.
Book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
So the Bible says, give not over thy mind to heaviness. What is that talking about? Give not thy mind over to heaviness. Don't allow yourself to fall into a state of depression. Sometimes we already are victims as it is, right? But there's always that aspect, as your Tom likes to say, of us not only being the victim, but there being some type of accountability because of our own actions, because of our own choices. All right? So read that one more time.
Give not over thy mind to heaviness.
You know what? We have to make a choice not to allow ourselves to stay the victim and to try to, I guess, gain, the sympathy of others. All right? Go ahead.
And afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
It does us no good at all to afflict ourselves in our own counsel. Have you ever done that? Mm-hmm. You spend it's like being on a basketball court. How many of y'all got skills on the court? Nah, for real, stop lying. How many? If you play basketball, right? It's like you go down, right? And you know how it is. Some of us, we grew up where other people around us, they didn't want you to take the shots because they wanted to take all the shots, right? So the minute you throw up a shot and you miss it, they all on you. Man, why you shoot that? Man, I was open. And the thing is, at that moment, you got a choice. A lot of times, some cats, they say, man, my bad, because you feel so bad that you missed the shot. Then you thinking about it the rest of the game. You never can really get back into the game. You're apprehensive about taking any more shots. They make you feel so bad about it, and then you start beating up on yourself. And before you know it, you're not putting up any shots. Your offense ceases to exist. How many of y'all was that guy? Okay, I thank you for being honest. Then there's that other guy, that Kobe. How many of y'all watched Kobe in his early years? Kobe went down, he threw up a half-court shot. He was confident. And he'd miss it miserably. And he didn't care what anybody said. He didn't care. People, I mean, you know, the announcers, everybody was talking about how much of a ball hog Kobe Bryant was. And because Kobe didn't listen, Kobe understood, look, this is a part of my growing process. I'm going to make it do what it do. He became one of the best to ever play the sport, right? That's what happens to us. A lot of us, the rest of that game, we all messed up. We don't want to take another shot. The Bible says don't do that. Go ahead.
Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Don't afflict yourself in your own counsel. You, man, why I do this? Oh, yeah. Sometimes you got to say, you know what, it is what it is. Let me give it another shot. Go ahead.
The gladness of the heart is the life of man.
Because that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. When we talk about the heart, Ephesians 4:23 says, be ye renewed in the spirit of your mind. Right? Right? And when we talk about the heart, we're talking about the mind as well, right? So when the Bible says the gladness of the heart, meaning the mind, is the life of man. That is the life of man, meaning what? Have you ever heard somebody say, you know what, that's not living? Working a 9 to 5, that's not living. What do they mean by that? Because it's become normalized for you to work a 9 to 5, and you think that that's how everybody lives, and that's what it's supposed to be. But that's how it is living in captivity. That's the reality that we've come to accept, but that's not really living. So when it says the gladness of the heart, of the mind, is the life of man, a lot of times we find ourselves in a place where we don't have a whole lot of gladness in our hearts, in our minds. We spend a whole lot of our time stressing. We spend a whole lot of our time worrying. We spend a whole lot of our time trying to figure out things that we don't have any control over. We spend a lot of time thinking about what other people think about us. Right? Go ahead.
The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days.
When you can live with some type of peace, harmony, and happiness in your life, you'll live longer. When your life is absent of that, you're not going to last long. You're going to worry yourself to death. You spend so much energy stressing and being mad at folks, and you don't even realize that you're causing your own demise. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Love thine own soul.
So the Bible says you got to learn to love yourself. Some wise words from a man sitting right next to me. He told me this just this morning. He's told me it before, but he said, man, I have to find out how to take that time to make sure I did things for me. I got to make sure I exercise for me. I got to make sure I give myself that disconnect time, that time to meditate, that time to study. I got to make sure I do that for myself, because if I'm not here, there's nothing I can do for those that are around me. I'm of no use to anybody if I'm not here. You got to make sure you love yourself. Go ahead.
The gladness of the heart is verse 23. Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart.
Sometimes you got to comfort your own mind. You can't always beat up on yourself. Man, I could have did this. You could have did a whole lot of stuff. But sometimes you got to build yourself up. The same way the same approach that you have to take sometimes with your children. The same approach sometimes that you have to take with your spouse, with your friends, colleagues, so on and so forth. You got to take that same approach with yourself. Go ahead.
Remove sorrow far from thee.
Remove sorrow. Some of us, we like to always feel like life is so hard. Woe is me. And the Bible says sometimes you got to remove it. And not only can you remove it, don't just put it outside the door. He says, remove it far from me. Get it away. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to see it in the far distance. Go ahead.
For sorrow hath killed many.
Sorrow have killed many. How many of y'all got sorrows in your life? I'm pretty sure more of y'all do. You know what sorrows are, right? When you look at your paycheck and you're not pleased. That's sorrow. Go ahead.
And there is no profit therein.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life.
Envy and wrath. You see that? Oh, I can't stand that. So that shortens your life. You spending all that time having an issue with somebody. It takes a lot of energy to have an issue with somebody. Sometimes you just got to let some of that petty stuff go. Envy and wrath. You mad at somebody or you envious. It's not healthy. Go ahead. Somebody turn me down. Yeah. Go ahead. I project.
Envy and wrath shorteneth the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Carefulness bringeth age before the time. So some of y'all start looking old. I said y'all. I'm trying to stay looking now. I start seeing a difference now, even though people say, you look young. I said, man, I got to slow down. I see a little bit of difference. And I sure enough want to stay looking young as long as I can. So we got to make sure. Carefulness bringeth age before the time. Meaning what? Sometimes we pay too much mind to things that are just not important. They're trivial. And we don't look at the bigger picture. We get caught up in the details. We get caught up in things that people around us are capable of taking care of. And we're hurting ourselves. Go ahead. 25.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
And that works both ways. Because some people look at it one way. It says a cheerful and a good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. Meaning, if I eat right, if I take care of myself in that respect, then I'm going to be cheerful and I'm going to have a good mind. But it works the opposite way as well. When you have that type of mindset, you're more prone to take care of yourself. You're more prone to eat healthy, to watch what you eat, what you consume, all right? And to be moderate with the things that you are consuming. So it works both ways, because a lot of times we get stressed with things in our life and we begin to turn to food because we ain't smoking, we ain't, doing some of the other things that are detrimental to us, all right? So let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Psalm.
So food could be a drug.
Oh, food is a hell of a drug, as my boy Rick said. Yeah, man, I'm a witness. I'm trying to get it right. Most High willing. I don't want y'all crying at my early funeral. Psalm, man.
And that's real what the brother's saying, because I know I went over this with brothers and sisters before, that stress is a killer of our people. Big time. Big time. It leads to heart attacks and, strokes, the whole nine. And really take heed what the brother's saying, because, they make it to where we're always under a certain amount of stress, through the jobs, through what we eat, through the media. And a lot of it is subconscious, meaning it's the stress that we don't really even know that we're under. And then that's why, we end up with these health issues at young ages, 40 years old, having a heart attack and, fatal heart attacks and things like that. You ain't never heard of that. That was something that you would always hear of your grandfather or someone up in age having something like that. Now this is happening to, people in their late 30s now. So, we got to be real mindful of what we think about and what we concern ourselves with, because we concern ourselves with too many trivial things that we give too much power to.
Indeed. Whew. Sometimes that's the toughest thing that we actually got going in our life, our biggest obstacle. Psalms 118, and let's get verse 6. So I'm going to kind of flip gears a little bit. Get your mind right. Y'all better wake up back there. They about to give up the ghost.
Put them on camera.
Tired. Ain't no I and they tired. They tired.
Tired. Huh? The book of Psalms, chapter 118, verse 6.
Yeah.
The Lord is on my side.
If the Most High is on your side, say yeah.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
I will not fear.
The Bible says that you ain't supposed to be afraid. You ain't supposed to be scared. What you scared of? You scared of losing your job? Keep it real. Because the Most High is watching you. The powers of the heavens are watching you right now. Yahweh Shai is paying attention. He's logging in. You scared of losing your job? Be real. Say a little bit. But help my unbelief. What you scared of? You scared of losing some important people in your life? Some family members? You scared of losing people's approval? What you scared of? I know you got some kind of fear. Read it one more time from the top.
The Lord is on my side.
Uh-huh.
I will not fear.
So when the Most High is on our side, we shouldn't be fearful of things. But go ahead.
What can man do unto me?
So the question is, what can men do unto me that the Most High is not capable of doing or stopping them from doing? Go ahead.
The Lord taketh my part with them that help me.
That's all I needed. So that's the type of mentality that has to kick in. Because as much as a lot of y'all standing up strong right now, let some tests happen as you walk out of this building. Harvey beating faster than I don't know what. Sounded like you in Wakanda. Hear them Wakandan drums. Go from there. Go to Matthew chapter 10. Some of us, we afraid to admit that we got some Peter in us. So Yahweh Shai knew how strong Peter was going to be, but Peter just had to build up to it. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28.
The book of Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body.
So the Bible says, fear not them which kill the body. We get so afraid of somebody having the power to take our lives. We get so afraid of those people that pose that type of danger. But read.
But are not able to kill the soul.
But they're not able to kill your soul. Your soul is not only indicative of your body, but also your spirit. Right? They don't have any control over your spirit and what's going to happen to your spirit. But yet sometimes we give them so much power. And sometimes it's not your own life. It's the life of your loved ones. Go ahead.
But rather, fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
So we're supposed to fear the Most High. We ain't supposed to be fearful of men. We're supposed to always by default say, I fear the Most High. All right? Go from there. Go to Isaiah 51. I see my lions up in here. I see the lion faces that came out. Isaiah 51. Let's get verse 12. I just need verse 12.
Isaiah 51, verse 12.
Yeah.
I, even I am he that comforteth you.
Uh-huh.
Who art thou, that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die?
He said, who in the heck are you to be afraid of another man that's going to die just like you and everybody else? What Biggie say? He said, niggas bleed just like us. They breathe just like us. But a lot of times we so afraid. We so afraid. Why? Why is it that we're so afraid? So he asked the question. He says, even I, am he that comforts you. The Most High is the one in his word that he's given us that comforts the children of Israel. He says, who art thou? Ask yourself that question. Who are you? You turn back into your government name after you leave here on the weekend, when you go back to your job, don't you? A little bit. How many of y'all turn back to that government name when you leave? And that mindset kind of, you keep enough of the Israelite to kind of keep these commandments, but part of that mindset go back to that government, right? So he asked you that question. He said, who art thou that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die? You afraid of your boss, your supervisor, your manager. As if you can't come to them boldly saying, look, this is what I need. Who are they that we so afraid to come and say, look, this is what I need? And maybe we need to get our stuff together so we can boldly come to them and say, this is what I need. Because if you're a subpar worker, or if you don't handle business at all, then maybe you need to check yourself. Because you should be able to step up to your so-called supervisor, whatever you want to call him, and say, look, this is what I need. How many of y'all back in the days, man, used to, to the fellas right now, used to mac females, used to holler at females? How many of y'all used to go to the mall to do it? Go to the mall, go to Universal Studio, City Walk, all of the different places, Crenshaw. And it's so crazy because you have to learn the game. You have to learn it, right? What was the game? What was the game? You couldn't just come and be like, excuse me, right? And you got something to say? He said, you got to trick them to catch them. One of the things that I found out, you have to have a certain level of confidence. You had to be bold. Bold enough. Right? You couldn't appear as a sucker.
What's a sucker?
You want to know what it's, we had all kind of, I'm keeping it PG. And with some of the other PG terms, you couldn't be no simp. You couldn't be a Captain Saver. You couldn't be those things. You wasn't gonna be the one that was gonna leave with numbers. We'd be like, how many numbers you got? Some of y'all was writing numbers down, huh? Man, I started getting it down to a science. I said, look, I'm not going to ask her for her number. I'm going to say, hey, give me your number. Then I got even slicker. I say, here, put your number in this phone. Ain't that how it went? And how many of y'all actually went for it in the world? Y'all lied. You didn't want that one that said, excuse me, you look beautiful tonight. I was wondering if I could possibly have this last dance with you.
So that was a simp?
That was a simp. That was a simp. I wasn't buying no drinks. I wasn't providing no extra amenities. Oh, man, I got talked about like a dog the first time. I brought a teddy bear and some flowers. I was watching too much TV, watching Steve Urkel. Go ahead. Let's finish that off.
Isaiah 50:12. I, even I, am he that comforteth you. Who art thou that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man, which shall be made as grass?
Because what it came down to, you just couldn't be afraid. And if you was afraid, you had to look and appear as if you were not afraid to approach that female. Right? Because certain females, you was like, man, I could get her. I could bag her. And then some of them, you be like, man, ooh, she on another level, homie. Where's Sid Fly at? He know. That's why he got his head down. Like, man, she on another level in the club. She looking for one of them. Can I buy a $200 bottle that really costs $30 to sit behind a little rope? Go from there. Go to Ezekiel. Yeah, man, what's so crazy about that, man? Some of that stuff translates into what we doing now, into righteousness. You gotta be bold. The Bible says that the ones that are not bold are usually the ones that got something to worry about. The ones that are not being righteous. But it says the righteous are as bold as a what? Lion. Lions are real bold. Especially don't tick a lion off. You ever watch them National Geographics? And that male lion, it'd be like a sea full of hyenas. But they done killed one of his lionesses. Boy, he come through that sea of hyenas, man. It's like, man, if y'all all just jump on him, y'all will whoop him. Boy, them hyenas see that fury in his eye, they get to scattering. And then sometimes he come and he put in a little bit of work, but when he be mad, he coming straight for the jugular. He coming straight for that back. That he know exactly where he gonna break you at. That's what we gotta look like. Go ahead. Ezekiel chapter 3. Let's read 7 through 11.
The book of Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, verse 7.
Yep.
But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee.
So the Bible says, look, it's no secret. The house of Israel? Them niggas? Them Mexicans? Those Latinos? Said, man, they not going to listen to you. Because sometimes we get amazed. How come they don't get it? I just don't get it. Man, look, it's simple. They not going to listen to you. A lot of them, they are not going to hear you. But read.
For they will not hearken unto me.
He said they don't even listen to me, and I'm the Most High. I know you ain't above me. He said they don't even want to listen to my words. They don't want to listen when I'm calling. So they don't get all bent out of shape when they don't want to hear you. Because that's what we dealing with as we come right here, as we planted our feet into this soil over here on Florence. Folks coming up, you in our hood. Well, the earth belonged to us. Go ahead.
For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted.
Said the vast majority of our nation, they hard-hearted. They got their mind set to do wickedness. So you're not going to make up their mind. Either their minds are never going to be made up, or it's going to take a catastrophic event for them to make a change. But go ahead.
Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces.
He said, I made your face strong against their face. Hey, I'm going to keep it real with you. Some people just got to look. I could pick 2 brothers up in here right now, and I could pick 2 sisters up in here right now. And I could show you one that ain't got that look, or he ain't got it yet. He got that pup look. And then I could got you that one. I could show you that one. You like, yeah. If I seen him coming in that alley, I'll beware. Straight up. Am I lying? Same thing with sisters. I'll show you some, you like, And the other sister, you like, I better not say the wrong thing with her. She's serious. And that's what it is with our people. When we see, we size ourselves up all day long. When we out there on them streets, and when we out here in front of this place, we sizing our people up, and they sizing us up. Certain things that they'll say to one of y'all that they ain't gonna say to one of us. That's the way the streets move. And it's crazy because anytime you're talking about the streets, do you ever think about Esau? Do you ever think about the other nations? We are the streets. That's right. We got the streets in our DNA. Mm-hmm. We got to be chameleons. We got to be able to deal on a corporate level and on a street level. That's why we got the name Yasharala. Because not only can we do it here, we're able to do it here. We're able to wrestle and battle on a mental level that the other nations find it hard to do. So go ahead and read that. One more time, verse 8.
Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces.
He says, so look, when you see them brothers, they looking like, they giving that extra walk. Because some of the times, just like my brothers say, and I'm not telling y'all to be bold in an unwise way. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm trying to convey. But I also got to build you guys up, those of you guys that need to be built up. Because some of the ones that try to make themselves look the hardest be the biggest busters. Straight up. Some of the ones, they got muscles in their neck. Ears got biceps. Be some of the biggest busters. Straight up. So what's so crazy is you looking at them like, dang, man, he with the business. Well, he better understand that we with the business too. He needs to understand that in a wise way. We ain't coming trying to flex because that's not what it's about. But what the Most High is trying to show us, he's saying, look, you got to understand the power that I've given you. He said, if you made in my image, what did the children of Israel do when the Most High gave them the opportunity to come and meet him? Y'all got to get into that history. Did they opt to do so or did they opt out? They was like, no, you go, Moses. And if we're made in that image, should we be around here tucking tail? Absolutely not. So keep that in mind and know who you are and begin to grow into those shoes. I'm not saying you're going to step out of here and be Superman, but I'm saying begin to grow and mature in that image. But go ahead.
Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads.
Your mind is stronger than their minds. Oh, man, I've been through this. I've been shot 51 times, been in prison 15 times, and I'm only 23. All right, for sure, brother. You done been through a lot. I'm of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My forefathers were warriors. I'm going to have to run my resume down. Go ahead.
As an adamant, harder than flint, have I made thy forehead.
He said, I made your head a whole lot harder than theirs. They hard heads, your head is harder. Say, we the hardest. And they recognize that because sometimes brothers get in that zone on the streets and you see that those spirits looking at you like, man, that brother's speaking with some force, with some authority. Some of them get afraid. Go ahead.
As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks.
He said, fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks. Because they look at you from across the way like, nigga, cuz. And then you be like, man, he said cuz. He kind of looking at me like he gonna. Like, what's up? Shalom, brother. You know, because that's the thing, man. Like our people put on a show sometimes. That's their defense mechanism. They trying to pull your bluff, trying to call your bluff. And all the Most High is telling us, he's saying, look, man, that's going to be a part of it. Your people going to bluff you. They're going to try to do any and everything that they can to get out of hearing this word so that they hopefully in their own minds don't have to be held accountable. He said, but this word has got to go forth because they got to be held accountable. Go ahead. So he says, fear them not. We got to make sure that we're not fearing our people. Go ahead.
Neither be dismayed at their looks.
Read on.
Though they be a rebellious house.
Go ahead and read.
Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears.
He said, make sure you receive it all. But read on.
And go, get thee to them of the captivity.
You got to get to those of the captivity. Those that think they free. Because they can now buy weed from a medical marijuana spot. They think they free. They think they free because they got a couple of white so-called friends that they run with. And they can go places that they hadn't been allowed to go at first. They're accepted, or so they think, within certain circles, right? So in their minds, they're not captives. But just like Barack, I believe, spoke on earlier, you paying taxes, you're a captive. That's what Yahweh Shai said. That's one of the ways to know as a people if you're in captivity. If you paying usury, if you being taxed, then you're a captive. Straight up. Go ahead.
And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people.
He said, I'm not telling you to go to these other nations. We don't go out there to rag on Edomites. Sometimes they just catch it. But that ain't our goal, to go out there and find some Edomites and start preaching to them, because you got some camps that like to do that. And, you know, they want to get their YouTube hits up. Nah, we're here for our people, to edify our people. Straight up. We're here to as Isaiah 58 says, we got to cry aloud to our people and show them their transgressions. Go ahead.
And speak unto them and tell them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear.
So it don't matter if they want to hear it or not, because a lot of them, I don't want to hear that. Oh, well, I got to prophesy. Let's go to Genesis chapter 32. Y'all all right? All right, for sure. Somebody said it with some enthusiasm. Sound like a mind. Yeah. Genesis 32 and 28.
The book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 28.
Yep.
And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Yahweh face to face.
Give me 28 one more time. I just need 28.
Verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob.
So hold on. This is our forefather. This is the progenitor of our nation. All right? Jacob. Yaquab. All right? All right? Says he shall no longer be called Jacob, but what?
Mm-hmm. But Israel.
But what?
I'm sorry, I thought you was asking the people. But Israel.
But Israel. And some of y'all say Israel. Israel. Yasharallah. Why?
For as a prince hast thou power with Yahweh and with men, and has prevailed.
He said you have power not only with men, but also with the Most High. He said you're not only able to prevail on a physical level. He said you're not only able to defend and to go to war on a physical, on a carnal level. He said, but I've given you the ability to go and war on a spiritual level. You have mental fortitude far beyond any other nation of people. And I think sometimes y'all forget that. Seriously. Men, you forget it. You find it hard to make a little bit of money and to do certain things to put yourself in a better situation because you forget who you are. Sometimes you just got to speak, because if you're made in the image of your creator said, look, let there be light. Sometimes you just got to go and say, I need a raise. Well, where's your credentials? I don't need any credentials. This is what I bring to the table. You know what? I need a different position. This is what I can bring to your business. What are you going to lose? You don't want to be laughed at? Think about it. This is what I need. And sometimes even as women, it's so hard being a woman. It ain't that hard. I got to do this. I got the kids. Man, you are more powerful than what you realize. We overthink things. We allow ourselves to fall within being the victim. It's time to stop being victims because we got so much building that we got to do. We don't have time to be overly involved with thoughts that are going to hinder us from moving forward. Go from there. Go to 2 Timothy. I hope this ain't going over nobody's head. Or I hope somebody ain't. I hope you're really understanding exactly what I'm saying to you guys. 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7.
The book of 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. For Yahweh hath not given us the spirit of fear.
Said the Most High have not given you the spirit of fear. He just told you in Genesis what he gave you. That's why the Bible speaks about having a name. You got to know what your name is, your surname. Your surname is what? Who? Why? Because that's who you descend from. Don't you take on your biological father's last name? That's a practice that stems way back. Because that's who you descend from. When you do as the scripture commands you, like the brother Ash was bringing out when we was on the streets, the scriptures commands that we know who we are. If you're not even on the right path if you don't take the time to find out who you are and who you descend from, and what wonderful gifts that have been bestowed upon you that's within your DNA. Because if you're not able to teach that and convey that to your children, what good is the education or so-called education that you claim to be giving them? It's like you sitting up here, all of a sudden they start ringing out shots, right? And they just, and you just in the panic. Oh, what am I gonna do? Oh, you go from this wall, you go from that wall, you duck over here, they shooting right there, you move over there. And then you find out after the fact that you had a backpack on, and in your backpack, you had a couple of pistols and all types of rounds. And all you had to do was pull that pistol out and bust back. At least that would have caused them to flee. But you don't know that you got that pistol. You don't know that you armed. Because you don't know who you are and you don't know what's in your DNA. You don't know what's been bestowed upon you and your people. That's the issue. So read that one more time.
For Yahweh hath not given us the spirit of fear.
So we're not supposed to be afraid like we're afraid in this place. We're afraid of everything. I trip myself. Man, we're afraid of simple stuff. We're afraid of dogs. How you afraid of dogs when you used to walk amongst the lions? How you afraid of ants when you used to have to stump out camel spiders? You ain't been over in the Middle East, huh? Some of the stuff that, man, we've been domesticated. And that's why the Esau be looking at you and laughing like he don't know he a lion. He think he really a chihuahua. And then you raising up your kids, they lions. The world that's why they look at your lion. That's like, what was the 12-year-old that they shot? Tamir Rice. That was a little lion coming up. And that's how Esau looks at him. He's a threat. And you like, we just want to be peaceable. We ain't trying to bother nobody. But they know the lion that's within you when you don't know it. You Simba. That's who you are. The brother said, amen. You don't know who you are. Said you got to understand what spirit you've been given. Because the white man is doing everything that he can to try to indoctrinate you and reprogram you with the spirit of fear. You fear everything. You fear getting a cold. You fear getting your hair frizzy. You're too afraid to start a business because you fear losing a couple of dollars that you're going to lose anyway. You're afraid of everything. But what is your name? Huh? You've been called Shaquisha too long. It ain't got no meaning. It ain't resonating with your spirit. That's why you get the new name. You get a name with purpose. But read on.
For Yahweh hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power.
Yashar Allah, power. You are a God. A power. You got to start acting like it. You got to start acting like it. You think the angels be up in the heavens tripping like, man, that's that Christianity BS with the whole Lucifer story and all of that garbage. Nah, everybody got a job and they stick to the script. We the only rogue angels that's in the picture. Cause we got too many opinions. Everybody got a way they want to do it. Everybody, I ain't satisfied with this. I really wanted it to be a darker gray. Man, it's to the left. I wanted it to be to the right. Man, instead of just saying, look, this is the bigger picture. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that this happens, to make sure that we get this kingdom, to make sure that we take our enemies out, to make sure that we prepare our children, to make sure that we build. He said, I gave you a spirit of power, not a spirit of fear. Go ahead.
And of love.
And of love. You're supposed to already have it within you to keep these commandments. That's the love that he's talking about. Our people are so disconnected because in the book of Deuteronomy, it tells you, he said, that's the very thing that made you great in the sight of the nations to begin with. That's the thing that they looked at you and they envied that. Like, man, look what they got. And that's the very thing that our people don't want to have anything to do with. Don't want no structure. But you're all right with going to jail is a badge of honor to you. Where they tell you when to cut the lights off. You got to sit up there and defecate in front of another man with no privacy. Even glorifying it with the orange is the new black. Even for the women, they say we got jail for y'all too. That ain't a life that we supposed to be living. This earth belongs to us. That's the type of stuff that we glorify. You ought to want to slap the hell out of some of these rappers for even having the nerve to think in 2018 that they could sell you that kind of garbage when they know they ain't living what they say that they doing. They trying as much as they can to stay away from that type of lifestyle. They nervous as heck in the hood. And the few dummies that want to stick around the hood to quote unquote have credibility. That's a dumb mindset. And I fell in that mindset at one point. That's a dumb mindset. And our people are profiting off of selling our youth that nonsense. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And then want to call yourself real. Ain't nothing real about you. You a real a-hole. You a real buster. You a real toxin and poison to our people in our community. That's what's real about you. You a real coon. You a real sellout. You a real ye. You're a real mark. That's what's real. If you want to get real, you might get offended for a second by what I'm saying, but then you ought to meditate on it and say, you know what, he right. I want to do better, because somebody had to tell me the same thing. Oh, but I'm on a whole nother level. You ain't nothing without the Most High. And that's what we got to know. You ain't nothing. Ain't none of us. I don't care how much money you got. You ain't nothing without the Most High. And you ain't nothing without this nation. Because at the end of the day, Israel is the nation that's making the world go round. Thus saith the Lord. Let's go from there. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. It's crazy because when you actually look at the consumers, the people that actually purchase all of the different products and services, our people are the biggest consumers of a lot of these commodities. But we don't profit off of any of it. Go ahead. Let's get Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power.
He said we're a holy people unto the Most High. Holy. Like the brother brought it out earlier, Yashima, he said holy. Something that is set apart specifically for the service of the Most High. It's exclusive. Everybody want that exclusive. You want the exclusive J's, right? You want exclusive jewelry. You want that exclusive vehicle. You want that exclusive outfit. You even in this truth, you want exclusive gird, don't you? How many of y'all like that exclusive? You want that exclusive love, don't you? Yeah, you want that. But watch this. But then you want to be like everybody else. Why are people want to be like everybody else? And then we got a problem when somebody tells us, hey, you exclusive. No, that ain't right. White people love being exclusive, so-called white people. Esau, he loved redlining. You know what redlining is, right? He loved redlining and gerrymandering. He loved making a separation between him and his people and you. He loves his separation that he can make with his judicial system. Nah, niggas. Yeah, well, he was just misguided. Prison won't do him any good. Let's do everything we can to rehabilitate him. He's one of us. That nigga ain't no good. Doesn't matter what you do for him. It's just in their culture. They never got over slavery. So it's a different standard when it comes to our people. Same thing for so-called Hispanics. You ain't nothing but niggas too. Because I know in Israel, sometimes when we use the word nigga and we talk about that, we think that it's being exclusive with Southern Kingdom, but it's Northern Kingdom too. You ain't nothing but niggas to the white man. White man will call the Arab a nigga in a minute. He call him a sand nigga. You ain't Israelites, you ain't nothing but niggas. Black. Without the understanding of who you are. That's what a nigga mean. That's the definition of what a nigger is. Nigger, however you want to fashion it. You even want to say niggas. Them niggas don't know what the heck they talking about. Oh, it mean king. Nah, it means you dumb. niggas. Niggas, my bad. Niggas. My niggas. And for all of that, you talk to the Moors, you talk to Islam, and they know we the children of Israel. Yeah, I know, but ain't no buts. If you know that, then why you got the couple of rogue ones within your discipline, within your ideology, and you allow them to go on and act as if they, like, y'all situation don't tell you that we the children of Israel. I don't know how many of y'all are aware of what I'm talking about, but some of y'all brothers know because you study. All of those different factions, those different ideologies, different doctrines, different religious practices, because that's what a religion is. It's a practice. They know that we the children of Israel. Yeah, I know that, but ain't no buts about it. Since when can we just, yeah, I know we are, but how does that work? How does that work? So we just going to exclude that we the children of Israel? Sounds like somebody's got an agenda. That's that coonery. That's that sellout stuff. So let's go on. I'm sorry, I ain't trying to go off into a tangent. Top of verse 6.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Bible says you are holy people unto the Most High. Go ahead.
The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people.
You got to remember that you special. I know so many times in your life, a lot of y'all was never told you was special. And if you did hear you was special, you was in special education. I'm just keeping it real. Some of us up in here probably was in special education, real talk. And it wasn't hard to get landed in special education, trust me. They'll misdiagnose you in a minute and try to medicate you. Don't give a doggone about really helping you. They just label you special. But we didn't hear special in the way we wanted to hear special. Now you hearing that you special. Now what you gonna do about it? You special. Nah, I'm just like everybody else. He said, I want you to be a special people unto him. Go ahead.
For the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people. That's the heavy part right there. Above all people. You better than everybody. You can literally go to the other nations and be like, you know I'm better than you, right? Some of y'all ain't that comfortable yet. You ain't that comfortable in your Israeliteness to go and say, you know I'm better than you. Man, I say it so cold to him because I ain't going to even go and try to be, I'm not going to be malicious with it. I'll just be casual with it. You know I'm better than you, right? What? What do you mean? We're all the same, aren't we? Nope. We ain't the same. It's crazy, man, because we sit up here, man, you should feel like a fool talking about Black Lives Matter and Brown Lives Matter. You ought to feel like a fool. Because you trying to convince yourself when you say that. Man, our seed is worth far more than what you could even imagine. Even your womb. Don't you let no foreign seed come up in your womb. Your womb is the aspect of nourishment that your body can provide a baby. They already know. Just knowing that they get to have your melanin. Talking about Edomites. They get a stronger child. Everybody knows that when they mix with us, they're going to get a stronger child. They know that. But you don't know that. You hate the way you look because you got convinced to hate yourself. Go from there. Go to 2 Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 40. 2 Ezra, chapter 16, verse 40. Go ahead and get that for me out.
of 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. O my people, hear my word.
He says, I want y'all to hear my word. And that's what we tell our people out there. We say, y'all got to hear this word. So many of our people, they don't want to hear this word. And some of our people, they admit, yeah, I know I'm an Israelite. How many people do we run across? I just want all of y'all can say it. Just say it out loud. How many people have you been running across lately that know they Israelites already? Know they Israelites. Know they Hebrews. But how many of them actually want to comply to this word? How many of them want to take the time to be educated? I know, brother. But go ahead and read.
O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle.
That's the thing. He says, make you ready to the battle. You got to get prepared to fight. How many of y'all preparing to fight? How prepared are you? And how much are you preparing? Straight up. Because now here's the thing. Take your time before you put your hands down for a second. Let me explain. And then I'm going to ask it again. How many of you guys are really prepared to battle? All right? So hold on. There's two aspects of that battle. You thought about the physical. Some of y'all think y'all in fairly good shape. Some of y'all work out a little bit, got a little physique, can run a little bit, and you think you're good. Some of y'all got some weapons, probably got more than the rest. You think you ready. Go to the gun range. Some of y'all might even take it beyond the gun range because you can be a good shot, but if you can't get the shot, some of y'all do a little bit of a tactical approach. You know, you go on airsoft shooting and paintball shooting and clearing rooms and all of the above, right? That's the physical. What about the spiritual? How easily offended are you? You ain't ready if you easily offended. How many of y'all have a problem doing the things that the Bible says you should be doing? How many of y'all so focused on what everybody else ain't doing instead of focusing on what you could do, doing more? So how many of y'all are truly ready to the battle? How many of y'all got issues at home? Then you ain't as ready as what you thought. You need to put a lot of that petty stuff to the side because you ain't ready. And the battle's coming soon. Go ahead.
O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth.
It says, be as pilgrims upon the earth. You know what a pilgrim is, right? A pilgrim is someone who is ready at any given moment to move, to go, to travel. How prepared are you to just get up and go? You got your bug out bag? You better think like that. Some of y'all think y'all got all the canned goods in the world and you good. You gonna stick it out at home. He said, no, you better be like as a pilgrim. Your vehicle ready to roll in any terrain? You ain't as ready as what you thought. But then some people might say, well, we ain't got to have all of that. Maybe you might be right a little bit on some of that. Even though he do tell us, man, make sure you get them swords. But there's the spiritual aspect. But we got to prepare ourselves spiritually because we got a lot of things that hold us back. A lot of things that we're overly concerned with. A lot of things that have power over us that should not have the type of power that they have over us. Go from there. Go to Deuteronomy. Go back to Deuteronomy. Chapter 4. Let's read 5 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5.
Yep.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
Go ahead.
Even as the Lord my God commanded me.
Yep.
That ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
He said, man, I already gave you what you need to do. It's crazy. Why do we run around with our heads cut off, like chickens with our heads cut off? Why do we ask some of the same questions 4 and 5 years down the line in this same truth that we've already gotten the answer multiple times? Why do we have certain issues with certain things that we've clearly seen that's in the Bible? This thus saith the Lord. Why is it that we got a problem with those things? Go ahead.
Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them.
He said, I gave you all of these things so that you can be prosperous. You got to keep them and you got to actually apply them. You got to do it. You can't just be talking about, oh, I'm an Israelite. See, look at my fringes. But you don't do what the Most High tells you that you should be doing. You don't apply these things within your life. You a hypocrite and you fooling yourself. You're playing games. You're bootleg. You be sitting up there talking about the white man, he Jewish, he ish. You ish too. And you done stepped in some ish because you playing with the Most High. He said, I'd rather you hot or cold. But if you lukewarm, what he say he gonna do to you? He gonna spit you out. We gotta be prepared. We gotta be ready. It's like Yahweh Shai. Remember when I think they went over it the other day. Said the disciples was tired, falling asleep. He said, y'all can't stay up with me for an hour? Wake up. Go ahead.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
Hold on. This is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Wow. Do y'all really understand what I'm reading to you or what he's reading to you? Technically. Somebody, I just need somebody to do that one favor for me. Just stand up, if you will, just one person, and explain what we're reading right here. Who gonna be bold enough to? There you go. Look at that. P.O.P. Give him a mic. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Bring that mic on up. Come on down.
So it's divided into two parts. So this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. When they see us, they're going to be perceiving us as this great, amazing, and beautiful people that is, wise and understanding.
Okay. So you look like a guy that likes, you look like you like Marvel comics and you look like you like superhero type stuff.
I do appreciate that.
You do? Okay. All right. Now, what intrigues you about that world?
Which, wisdom and understanding?
No, just about the world of superheroes.
That aspect of being above and actually able to save and save other people, help out other people. Really.
So how are they able to? Yeah. How are they able to do that?
Through giving an abnormal level of power.
Oh, okay. They have an abnormal level of power.
Correct.
Right? Meaning what? What's a easier way of saying that? They have what?
Superpowers.
Superpowers that sets them above everybody else, right? So what is this saying? What is our superpowers?
Wisdom and understanding.
Be even more detailed.
Oh, the laws.
Huh?
Yeah, the laws.
How are the laws our superpower?
The laws are our superpowers because they give us that wisdom and understanding that they don't have.
Okay. All right. Say it one more time.
The laws are superpowers because it gives us that wisdom and understanding that they don't have.
That they don't have. Okay, you on point. But watch this. You can have a seat. Thank you. I appreciate it. how much attention do you pay to the movies that you watch and the cartoons that you watch? Notice, in most cases, right, you always have those superheroes, many of them, that have these magnificent powers, especially like when you look at Marvel, you look at the X-Men, right? But then you have these extraordinary beings who you look at and say, I wish I could do that. And they find it to be a burden. They wish that it was some way that they could escape it. That's us. In a nutshell. He says the laws are the very thing that's going to allow you to fly. The very thing that's going to allow you to go through walls like they paper. But you forsake the laws. You don't want to have anything. The laws are the very thing that's going to make you extraordinary. The laws are the very thing that's going to make you above, make you wise, cause you to be industrious. But you forsake the laws. Every element of education is here in this Bible, even science. But we don't take the time to make this the center of our education. We don't have a well enough regard for this book because we don't see the microwave product. Because we can't pop it in and in 1 minute get it all heated up. Even though when you do that, it's harmful, right? This is that good old-fashioned oven right here, that good easy baking. This is what you want to heat it up in. This is your nourishment right here. We got to start cleaving to this right here. These laws. We got to stop being so selfish and worried about our feelings. How many of y'all be caught up in your feelings? Keep it 100. And stop being caught up in your feelings and get caught up in these laws. Get caught up in excellency. Because that's another thing. Our people, I keep the laws. You ain't excellent in trying to keep these laws. Well, that's just me. That's just how I am. Well, how you are is wicked. You need to change that. Yeah, you got that part of it. Cool. Well, what about this part? What about that? Go from there. Go to, was that all of that? Verse 6.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Man, that's how we're going to achieve greatness as a people, man. We got to stick to the script. Go from there. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Let's read verses 1 through 4. And then we're going to jump down to 11.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 1.
Yep.
Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth.
Who's supposed to be the judges of the earth? Who? I can't tell. Man, being a judge ain't easy. You can't be so caught up in your own stuff trying to come and being a judge of the earth. Being a judge, you can't come in focused on your life. You got to leave your life at the door, right? And look forward to being a help to your people. Go ahead.
Ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations.
Give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. Why is it saying that? Because our people are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Now we're understanding that it ain't just about blacks and Latinos here in the Americas. We got Israel that's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth that are waking up, that are looking for guidance. Why is it that you got Israelites waking up in Africa, Israelites waking up in Europe, Israelites waking up in the different places throughout the earth, and a lot of them are actually looking to Israelites here in the Americas, saying, look, we need leaders, we need guidance. Do they have to do that? Our people are looking for guidance. They're looking to unify. They're looking for structure. They're looking for government. But if you're not putting yourself in a place to be a governing body, then what help are you to your nation? Go ahead.
For power is given you of the Lord.
Said the power is given to us from the Most High. A lot of y'all don't realize the type of power that this organization is being given. Not because we true nation, but it's because we actually got people up in here that's actually trying to do the work. We got people up in here that's actually trying to move in sincerity. So the Most High says, yeah, I know the organization is just a name and a vehicle, but I'm going to move with y'all. It's no different from the book of Acts. He said, I'm going to rock with this church. I know you're a part of a bigger church, but I'm going to utilize this particular church, and I need y'all to be able to set these things up for me because it's people that are going to cleave to you. It's people that need you. You didn't ordain yourself. I ordained you. I gave you the power. If it had not been so, guess what? I guarantee you wouldn't be seeing the type of growth that you're seeing right now. We can't stifle that. Women, we got to make sure that we ain't stifling what the Most High is putting on these brothers. And brothers, we got to make sure that we ain't stifling and sabotaging what the Most High is placing in front of us. Straight up. Go ahead.
That's right. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest.
He said, I'm giving you sovereignty. When the rest of the world's saying you ain't nothing but a nigga, you ain't nothing but a Mexican, he said, I made you sovereign. He said, I put you in a situation where them laws that obstruct true justice, he said, them things ain't going to hold you down. He said, you're going to be able to get into places that everybody else can't get in. You're going to be able to move mountains when nobody else can budge a leaf. Go ahead.
Who shall try your works and search out your counsels.
He said he's going to try our works. He's going to search out our counsels, see if you was being just. See if you was being hasty or if you actually sat back and was wise about it and collected all the proper data and information so that you could give the best judgment. Or was you judging so the people could say, oh, he did what we wanted him to do? You can't do what the people want you to do all the time. Sometimes you got to do the thing that's hard. People looking at you, why ain't y'all said nothing about this? How come y'all ain't did nothing? Because you don't know, brother. You don't know, sister, that we got to wait. It ain't easy being a judge. He said, I'm trying to gear y'all up to be a governing nation of people. Read.
Verse 4, because being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright.
He said, you were the ministers of the kingdom. He said, you know what a minister is? Servants. He said, you guys, he said, I didn't want nobody else touching it. I didn't want nobody else touching the cookware. I didn't want nobody else being a priest under me. I didn't want nobody else doing anything but the nation of Israel. And when I put y'all in that place, you guys didn't do right by it the first time. He said, but I'm going to give you another chance. He said, because this is for you. You, my children. Yeah, sometimes your children go off. He said, but I'm going to get you right. And when you get right, I'm putting you right back in place because you are the heir. We don't know nothing about being heirs because we've been so disconnected from the wealth of our fathers. Stop thinking like a nigga and a Mexican. Start thinking like what you are because you need to make sure you remember who you are. You're a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a sovereign people. Go ahead.
Because being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of Yahweh.
He said we didn't do those things. We got to make that right. Drop down, I think I want verse 11. 11 and 12.
Verse 11. Wherefore, set your affection upon my words.
He said, set your affection upon my word. Get your affection off of them hips and them curves. Get your affection off of that man because of the way he look and his smooth talking. Take your affection off of those monetary things and those cars and amenities. He said, take your affection off of those so-called friends who ain't never been friends to you, but that you trying to impress. He said, take your affection off of that and place it on what?
Upon my words.
He said, place that same affection upon my word. I want you to love on my word. I want you to cuddle with my word. He said, wake your butt up. You ought to be gripping my word like a teddy bear. How many of y'all got kids? You got a kid that can't fall asleep unless they got that blankie, unless they got that teddy bear. That's what that word needs to be to you. A lot of y'all, you get in a situation, somebody pull out the word on you, you get all mad. Why you got to bring out the word? Why you got to bring the word into it? Go ahead.
Desire them, and ye shall be instructed.
Desire them. You got to desire this. You got to desire correction. How many of y'all really don't be desiring correction? You don't desire that correction because it stings. Ooh. But you got to be like, I know the men know, when you get in that barber chair, you get them little cuts, right? Then they got to get that alcohol. When you ain't accustomed to it, like my boys say, oh, I don't want the burn. But as you get older and you realize that, hey, man, I don't want to get no funky stuff on my head. I don't want to mess around with no infections. Give me that burn. It becomes a good burn. That's that good burn. That's how you get that good burn. We need to get accustomed to that and understand that's a good burn. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away.
Man, it feel good to have wisdom. It feel it feel better to have wisdom than it do to have a dope gold chain. Straight up. Because everybody recognize your wisdom more than they recognize your gold chain. Go ahead.
Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her.
Exactly. Drop down real quick, 17 through 21.
Verse 17. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
The very true beginning of wisdom is the desire of what?
Discipline.
What?
Discipline.
What?
Discipline.
What?
Discipline.
I don't hear everybody. What?
Discipline.
You need to want some discipline in your life. A lot of y'all like to do stuff on the fly. You don't have discipline. Even brothers, you make it look like you got stuff together, but you really don't have the proper discipline. Structure. Discipline is something that you can't just get in one day. Discipline is something that you practice. It's religion. That's that discipline. We got to desire that discipline. Our kids need discipline. It's crazy because some things that we got in a short amount of time, we want our children to get it in a short amount of time, and not understanding that your children's spirit is different from your spirit. So yes, you may have made a conscious choice to move in a certain direction and to do a certain thing. It might have been easy for you, but because they got a different spirit, they make the choice to do something contrary to what you chose to do, and now all of a sudden you got a problem. What should you have done? You should have brought them up and understood that you needed to make it a situation of discipline. The martial arts and the things of that nature, they call those things discipline. Because even though your kids might not want to do them, your kid might not want to play piano, but they playing that piano. But they playing, you don't stop. Because a lot of parents today, they be like, oh, well, they don't want to do it. I'm not going to make them do it. Then 20 years down the line, Mom, I wish you would have made me play the piano. I could be playing now. Then it be that one, they ain't really tripping, but they cool because they like, yeah, I've been playing the piano all my life. I've been doing martial arts all my life. Discipline. And it translates into other aspects of your life. When you play organized sports, you are involved in a discipline. And it translates throughout other things in your life. Those of y'all that played football, the good thing about the football was the what? The discipline. It translates into other aspects of your life. I know there's bad things about cheerleading, but guess what? Cheerleading, real cheerleading, unless you bootleg cheerleading, it requires an aspect of what? Discipline. You have to have discipline. Go ahead.
For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
But not just discipline, but the desire of discipline. You got to want to have discipline in your life. You got to want to have structure in your life. Go ahead.
And the care of discipline is love.
And the care of discipline is love. Go ahead.
And love is the keeping of her laws.
Now that's heavy right there, because every time you read about love, it ain't that fuzzy feeling. It ain't them rough toes rubbing against you up under them sheets. That ain't the type of love that the Bible is talking about. Nah. Go ahead.
And love is the keeping of her laws.
Uh-huh.
And the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption.
You want to know how to be immortal? Because Yasharala, the Yah in front of it, it comes from the Heavenly Father's name. Because when you actually break that down, a lot of times we just say princes of power. But it's actually the eternal is in front. That Yah stands for he. He exists. The eternal. So he says, I not only made you princes, heirs of power, but he said, I made you eternal in my image. We trying to figure out how to get that immortality. He says, you got to keep these commandments. Be like me. Don't they tell you you want to be a millionaire, then you better look at and research and do what millionaires do. Didn't they tell you that? You ain't never heard that? Some of us, we stay broke because we got a bunch of broke people around us. We stay in trouble because we got a whole bunch of troublemakers around us. I know when I was rolling, I had certain homeboys, I knew it was going to be a fight. Because they always was going to start some trouble. They was always going to perceive the way another cat looked at them as a problem. You had homies like that? Raise your hand if you had homies. Some of y'all from this new generation, so y'all don't know. Y'all done been around a little bit. You had homies like that. You knew if I roll with him, and the Bible talks about it, he's a bold fella or a bold sister, because the sisters get down like that. A lot of them be more vicious than the fellas. I know she didn't. And not even I know she didn't. I know he didn't. Well, F you then. F you, your mama, my mama dead. Then it's a problem. Go ahead.
And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption.
Go ahead.
And incorruption maketh us near unto Yahweh.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom.
The desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. We talking about we going to take this kingdom, we going to get this kingdom. If you don't want to be better, then you ain't ready to get a kingdom. If you don't want to be more informed, if you don't want to be wiser in your counsel, if you don't want to have more understanding, if you're not trying to elevate your mind, you ain't ready for a kingdom. And sisters, if you ain't allowing your man to have the time to do so, then you ain't ready for a kingdom. And if you don't take the time to build yourself up, like Malcolm said, ain't nothing worse than having a sister with a TV mind. You can't do nothing but have mundane conversations with the sister because all she knows is TV level stuff. Can't have a deep conversation. You got to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Stimulate the mind of your man. If you ain't working to elevate your mind, then that's an issue. Thus saith the Most High. We got to elevate ourselves and elevate each other if we really want this kingdom. Otherwise, you just doing this. You just bumping your gums. That's that old school. Just bumping them gums. You all of that. You say you want, you don't really want this. You ain't really ready for this. You a play Israelite. You an Israelite action figure. Toy Israelite. Go ahead, finish that off. 21.
If your delight be then in thrones and scepters,
Uh-huh.
O ye kings of the people,
Uh-huh.
honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore.
All right, let's go from there. Go to Ecclesiastes. This one is a big one right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 51. Man, like David said, he said, I love thy precepts, man. I love these scripts. Woo. It's like good crack. It's like, man, homie, I get caught up in these scripts, man. 51, 22 through 30. 22 through 30. Yep. No thunder over here, love these scripts.
Sirach chapter 51, verse 22.
Yep.
The Lord hath given me a tongue for my reward.
He said he gave me a tongue for my reward. What does that mean? You hear these brothers that's able to speak eloquently and able to move the people, man, that's a reward from the Most High. Don't think that that's that brother. That's a gift. He said, I'll make your speech eloquent. You be like, man, I can't really talk like it. Man, homie, y'all be hearing me read, and I was not the best reader. I promise, Tazayawan, I was not the best reader. I was just like everybody else, trying to hope that they pick somebody else to read. Then that spirit just came over me. I said, this is what it is. Let me get my skills up. I was in the bootleg Sunday school classes. Get nervous in the mug when you get called. And then everybody was clowning. They were laughing and stuff. Man. So, this is a gift of the Most High, man, when you see brothers, you know what I'm saying, able to be eloquent and they speaking and they reading and they teaching. Go ahead.
The Lord hath given me a tongue for my reward, and I will praise him therewith.
He said, and I'm going to praise him with that tongue. Read.
Draw near unto me, ye unlearned, and dwell in the house of learning.
Said you're supposed to make sure you dwell here. This is the house of learning. That's why they call it a school. It's a reason why we call this a school. We could call it a church. We technically wouldn't be wrong, right? Because this is where the church is at. But it's a school because we want to convey that this is a place of learning. All right? This is the house of learning. We got to make sure we understand that. That's why we do the things that we do. We pull our finances together to make sure that we got a place like this so that we can be educated further. We can begin to educate our people and build. Go ahead.
Wherefore are ye slow? And what say ye to these things, seeing your souls are very thirsty?
Says some of us got some thirsty souls. Thirsty. Go ahead.
I opened my mouth and said, buy her for yourselves without money.
Buy her for yourself without what? Go and buy that hamburger without money. Just go, I ain't gonna give me no. He said, look, he said, I'm telling you, this is the most precious thing that you can buy, and you don't even need no money for it. But just because you don't need money for it, it don't mean that it's for free. You gotta pay something that's more precious than your money. Yeah, your time. Got Esau telling you that your hour is only worth $14.95. An hour of time that you will never get back in your life. An hour of time that you could have utilized to build your family. You could have built your own brand, built your own business. But he tell you that your time is only worth such and such amount of money. Your time is worth more than money, straight up. So he says, look, you still going to have to pay something. Read.
I opened my mouth and said, buy her for yourselves without money.
Go ahead.
Put your neck under the yoke and let your soul receive instruction.
You see that? Put your neck under the yoke. That's crazy. Because you get some people that come here, they don't want to put their neck up under the yoke. Your neck up under the yoke, Izar? Huh? What yoke you put? Because it says you put your neck up under the yoke. What yoke you put your neck up under? Another yoke. What yoke did you put your neck up under? Aladai, what yoke you put your neck up under? There you go. Say it again. Security, what else? Feast committee, what else? Soldier, teaching. What yokes you put your neck up under, your top? Y'all the heads of security. That's a heavy yoke. Teaching, your top second. Got their own camp. That's the yoke. Barack, you could have easily been like, man, I'm good. You put your neck up under that yoke. It's quite a while. You talking about not some men with the what they say with Similac behind their ears. These are mature men, right? Y'all decided to put your neck up under that yoke. Bosh, how many yokes you done put on your neck? Gang of them, right? Put your neck under the yoke and what?
Put your neck under the yoke and let your soul receive instruction.
And let your soul receive instruction, because every last one of y'all receive instruction, don't y'all? For everything, for every different yoke that you got, you receive some type of instruction, don't you? No, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. I'm my own, I'm me. No, we don't do that. We do the work, right? The brother Aaron, he said, man, I wanted to come up in here. I couldn't wait to put that yoke on my neck and receive that instruction. And it's a beautiful thing, because we do it willingly for this white man, so-called. Give me a job. Ooh, I'm so happy. Go ahead.
And let your soul receive instruction. She is hard at hand to find.
She's hard at hand to find. It's hard to find a place where you can do the works of the Most High. Believe that. Because every other place is antichrist. They don't want you doing the works of the Most High. So while you got the opportunity, man, you ought to be working. I'm trying to get as many hours as I can get in. Trying to get as much under my resume as possible. What happens when I don't have a place? Some of y'all searched out this place, didn't you? It was hard to find a place where you could really just do. Look, all I want to do is be a worker. You thought it was easy, and you looked around and said, whoa, it's hard to find a place where I can legitimately come and just put that yoke on my neck and do these works. He said it's hard to find. Go ahead.
Verse 27, behold with your eyes how that I have but little labor and have gotten unto me much rest.
He said, man, for the little that we do, he said, man, you ain't doing a whole lot. You swear you're doing so much. He said, for the little that you're doing, you're going to get much rest. Believe that. Read.
Get learning with a great sum of money and get much gold by her.
He said, man, the money's going to come. The money ain't nothing. He said, but focus on the learning. You're going to get plenty of gold. You're going to get all of those things. They come along with it. Read.
Let your soul rejoice in his mercy and be not ashamed of his praise.
Be not ashamed of the Most High. Be not ashamed of being an Israelite. Be not ashamed of being holy. Be not ashamed of being separate. Go ahead.
Work your work be time.
Don't wait to the future. He said work it now. Work it while you're little. Put them to work. Get it under your belt now. Go ahead.
And in his time, he will give you your reward.
And in his time, he's going to definitely reward us. I know I ain't got that much time. Any questions pertaining to the lesson? Nope. All right, let's go on. Let's get real quick. Let's see. Get 2 Timothy 3 and 12.
And all that will live godly.
Wait, hold on. And what?
And all.
Some of them.
And all.
A little bit.
All.
Most of them.
All.
All. Read.
That will live godly in Yahushua.
That's going to live godly, that's going to keep these commandments in Christ. Go ahead.
Shall suffer.
Shall do what?
Shall suffer.
Shall what?
Suffer.
You going to suffer. Suffer what?
Persecution.
Persecution. You going to be persecuted. People going to talk about you. They're going to always have something to say. They're going to try to make life hard for you. They're going to try to make this walk difficult. So expect it. Expect it. Go from there. Go to Ecclesiasticus real quick. Let's get 2 and 14. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 14.
Sirach chapter 2, verse 14.
Yeah.
Woe unto you that have lost patience.
Woe unto y'all that lost. How many of y'all know some Israelites that lost patience? Can't lose patience. You gotta have patience. Gotta have patience. Go ahead.
And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?
What you gonna do when the Most High say, uh-oh, it's time to knock at your door? Go to Job 5, 6, and 7. Job chapter 5. Somebody said Job. Go to Job. Job chapter 5. What you say that one time, Izar? No thing. Job chapter 5, verse 6 and 7.
Job 5, verse 6. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust.
So what is the Bible telling you? Because sometimes we think affliction come out of nowhere. It said affliction don't come out of nowhere. Go ahead.
Neither doth trouble spring out of the ground.
It says trouble don't come out of nowhere. A lot of times we do things that invites those things into our lives. Go ahead.
Yet man is born unto trouble as the sparks fly upward.
Said we was made for this. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have problems. You're going to have affliction. All right? So get over it. All right? Go to, you can write down Acts chapter 14 and 22. Because it says through much tribulation, you know, we going to have to get this kingdom. All right? But watch this. Baruch, a.k.a. Barak, chapter 4 and verse 25. Yep, chapter 4, verse 25. That's what I need. Barak, chapter 4.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 25.
Yep.
My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from Yahweh.
The Bible, did the Bible just say suffer patiently? How many of us like to suffer patiently? Soon as you get cut, you want a Band-Aid right away. Soon as you feel that headache come on, you want some Tylenol or some Motrin right away. You get irritated right away. But the Bible says we got to make sure that we suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon us because it's coming from the Most High. Read.
For thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction.
Surely we're going to see the destruction of these nations. We're going to see the destruction of this so-called white man. Be patient. Go ahead.
And shall tread upon his neck.
And we're going to tread upon his neck. Real quick, go to Jeremiah 31, 16 through 17.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 16.
Yep.
Thus saith the Lord, refrain thy voice from weeping.
What?
Refrain thy voice from weeping.
Quit crying, homie. Quit crying, sister. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Nobody want to hear that. Bible says stop all that crying. It ain't going to help. Go ahead.
And thine eyes from tears.
Keep them tears in there. I know you want to look like you really care. But go ahead.
For thy work shall be rewarded.
Your work is going to be rewarded, read.
Saith the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And they shall come again from the land of the enemy.
We're going to come again from the land of our enemy. The land of our oppressors here in America. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And there is hope in thine end, saith the Lord.
Said there's hope in your end. That's why I named this, you got to get your mind right. Sometimes we act as if it ain't no hope coming for us. As if we don't already know. Not only should we know what the end is going to be, but we have to believe what the end is going to be according to the Bible. Straight up. Some of y'all have a hard time visualizing the kingdom. You have a hard time visualizing rulership. You have a hard time visualizing you not having to work a 9 to 5. You having servants. I know somebody, well, I gotta do so much. Soon you won't have to do nothing. Now, if you don't believe it, then that's one thing. Somebody might say, oh, this is a foreign thing. You guys really believe? Like, yeah, because guess what? We're in a situation right now where we're the maid servants. We're the man and maid servants right now of this particular kingdom. We do all of the jobs that the white man does not want to do. So when we begin to rule for a short period, for a time, he's going to have to do that as well as the other nations that profit off of us. They're going to be in our place and we're going to be in our rightful place, which is being the rulers and the judges of the earth. The crazy thing about it is it's crazy because they ain't going to be having Trayvon Martins because we're going to rule righteously. It's already in us. As much as brothers be going hard, man, you devil, because white man is the devil. But I could say he's the devil without having, you devil. We know what a devil is. He does everything that he can to falsely accuse our people and to deceive us, right? But with all of that, we're going to rule righteously. So he ain't even got to even deal with half of the stuff that we got to deal with. So how in the world? That's why when I think it's the Elder Iquar talk about it, he said these nations can't wait for us to rule again because they finally see. They say, man, Esau gonna destroy us all off the face of this earth. We need to get somebody in place. What better people for the job? Because we actually got a conscience. Go back and see how they was lynching us and see how they really doing us now. They sitting up there smiling in your face while they injecting your children with poison. Injecting your children with formaldehyde and to swear up and down, no, this is for your benefit. Giving you poisonous things, giving your children poisonous things, gunning us down. No, we were looking for the welfare of the people. That's vicious, man. That's lacking a conscience. Straight up. Go ahead, finish that off.
And there is hope in thine end, saith the Lord.
Man, there's hope in our end. Of course, I didn't get to half of the stuff that I wanted to get to, so I'm going to hit y'all with like 2 more.
That thy children shall come again to their own border.
That's right. Because we want to make sure that we get back to where? We got to get back to that kingdom, man. Last couple. I wanted to go into, when you get a chance, man, read about Joshua and Caleb. Everybody else, they were sent to give a report. And everybody else gave a different report. Their report, they was like, they would have came over here to Florence and been like, man, we can't go over there. Man, it'd be like 50 dudes on the corner. That's what everybody else, you know what Joshua and Caleb was like, right? They was like, we got that. That's us. We need to go and take that right now. Said the people got mad at him. The people wanted to stone him. And then the Most High checked all of them and said, y'all ain't going to make it into the land. And a lot of them, well, all of them got put to death. He said, y'all kids are going to make it, but you ain't going to see the land. Because you didn't trust me. You didn't wholly believe in me. And he uses the word specifically, wholly. Because some of y'all believe, but you don't wholly believe. And the worst thing that you can do is not be real with yourself. If you don't wholly believe, be like the man in the New Testament said, well, help thou my unbelief. He can have respect unto that. But don't be sitting up there acting like you believe wholly and you don't believe wholly. Joshua and Caleb, they was like, with the Most High on our side, there ain't nothing that we can't handle. And that's the mentality that we got to have. That's what we have to project. Con? All right, so they didn't give an evil report. Let's go to, let's get the last couple. 2 Timothy. Yeah. Let's get Ezekiel real quick. Ezekiel 37. You know, sometimes you see them, they got cold little combo. It's like, you almost don't want to throw the jab alone. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ezekiel chapter 37. I'm going to get straight to the point. You can write down 9 through 14, but I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 10.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 10.
Yep.
So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet an exceeding great army.
Said we stood on our feet as an exceeding great army. Look around you. Literally look around you. This is the army that we developing right now. Straight up. Sisters, look at that army. These are men that's willing to walk you to your car and take a bullet for you. Straight up. That's the inception of what you see right now. And I want you guys to understand that, and I want us to start acting accordingly. Men, look at who you got around you. And because of the type of brotherhood that we got, because we able to come together, oh yeah, go ahead and clap it up. Clap it up. All praise be to the Most High. Because we joke with one another, we eat with one another, we go into the trenches with one another, we're more prone to give our lives for one another. That's because sometimes I know you even, conversations with your tribe, conversations with the elders, we say, man, we don't have the luxuries of truly preparing like an army, but we're preparing in more ways than what we realize. But one of the things that we have to do, that we have to make up for our inadequacies, is by making sure we have respect to the process and the things that we do have, and looking at each other as such. We can't look at each other just like we congregants. You got to look around and realize these are soldiers. Go from there. Go to 2 Timothy chapter 2. I'm going to prove it to you. And in some respect, we all soldiers. Watch this. 2 Timothy chapter 2. Yep. And you can start at verse 1.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahushua.
Yep.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men.
Commit unto what?
Faithful men.
Not any kind of men, but unto faithful men. You see faithful men. That's one of the reasons why I want to highlight brothers, man. Because brothers are faithful. We went through some stuff. We went through some trying times with various different brothers, man, that, I'm not going to speak ill on brothers, but for whatever reason, there was a lack of compatibility. But you see a whole bunch of God dog it. You know what I'm saying? You see, yeah, compatibility with brothers right here. Brothers are faithful up in here. All praise be to the Most High. Brothers are faithful. That's one indicator that really alerts me to understand, like, okay, it's time to really build. Go ahead.
Verse 3, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also.
That's the whole point. These men are able to teach others. They going out there, they literally receiving on-the-job training. On-the-job training. Read on.
Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier.
As a good what?
A good soldier.
As a who?
Soldier.
A good soldier. Good old soldiers. Read.
Of Yahushua.
Read on.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
And we can't be entangled with the affairs of this life, men or women. We got to let go of the carnal things, and we got to start focusing on the what? On the who? All right, I hope y'all believe that. Read on.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
Because in that army, ask your Tab, ask some of the other brothers that's been in that army, Tazayawan, where are y'all at? Check this out. In the army, you don't have the luxury of doing that. You don't have the luxury to be worrying about what's going on at home. You got to focus on the task at hand. Read on.
That he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Man, the Most High chose you. Yahushua chose you to be a soldier. Sometimes you think you chose to be a soldier. Now, you were chosen to be a soldier. So with that, you should understand that there's a greater responsibility. All right? Verse 5.
And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned except he strive lawfully.
Except he strive lawfully, because any other efforts that you have concerning your own business affairs, it means nothing unless you're doing it in a lawful manner. All right? This is going to be the last scripture right here. All right? First Maccabees, chapter 3. Rhyme that got tech savvy on me up here. That apocrypha too little, huh? First Maccabees, chapter 3, and I want to read 18 through 21. And that'll be it.
First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 18.
Yep.
Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few.
So a lot of times we looking at, different entities, whether it be Esau, whoever, and we say, man, or we look at our own people and we say it's way more of them that's unrighteous and they want to, partake in this wickedness. And it's only so many of us. But the Bible says it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. All you need is a few good ones. Go ahead.
And with the power of heaven, it is all one.
And with the power of heaven, it's all one. Go ahead.
To deliver with a great multitude
Uh-huh.
or a small company.
It don't make no difference with the Most High. Look at David and Goliath. He said, it don't matter. It don't matter. Don't matter to me. He said, whatever you give me, I can work with it. It's just like that confident domino player. It don't matter what's in his hand. He said, I'm going to work with this. I said, not you, not you. Go ahead.
Verse 19. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of a host.
Sisters, listen up. The victory of the battle standeth not in the multitude of the host, but what?
But strength cometh from heaven.
Man, we got to put our faith in the Most High. Even when we look at our men, sometimes we get afraid for them. But you got to trust the Heavenly Father that these men are going to be preserved. And if it comes to the point, I try to be careful with saying a lot of y'all going to die. Because I don't know. Maybe the Most High might not take a lot of us. He may take one or two. But in his scriptures, he says some going to be took. But us understanding that we've done everything that we were supposed to do and that we've wholly committed ourselves into the belief of the Heavenly Father, that not only he would preserve us, but he would bring us Because sometimes we worry more about the preservation of our physical life when we should be worrying about the preservation of our spirituality, and more so our nation coming back into power, receiving the kingdom of heaven. That's what we have to be focused on. So we got to make sure that we keep the Most High in his proper place as our power. What should we fear? Who should we fear? We can't be around here afraid of what's going on out there, afraid of somebody looking at us sideways. We ain't afraid of that. Time is out for being afraid on every level, on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on a business level. It's time out for having that spirit of fear. And it's time to walk in the spirit that the Most High is not only giving us men, but he gave you the same name, Yasharallah. Know that you are a princess of the Most High and walk in that. Read.
Verse 20. They came against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us.
That's what the enemies do. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, whether it be the other nations and even our own people at times. Read.
And our wives and children, and to spoil us.
They even come at our wives and children, and they come to spoil us. They want to take everything you got. Go ahead.
But we fight for our lives and our laws.
But we're going to stand in defense for our lives and for these laws. And with that, you know I got to say Kwam Yasharallah. Y'all ain't with it. Kwam Yasharallah.
Kwam Yasharallah.
Kwam Yasharallah. Woo, I like that. All praise be to the Most High. Any announcements? Any announcements? Anything? Oh, yeah. One thing that I didn't announce last time I was up here is we are definitely working towards a True Nation compilation, a music compilation. We will give you more and more details as time goes on. You definitely have artists that would definitely like or be acceptant to any type of help that they can get from anyone, the congregants. But we also just want you guys to be aware that we are working on some music, just for the nation. Most High willing, we'll have more music to contribute to the nation. Some more and more beautiful Israelite music that's coming from a lot of the different camps, a lot of different individuals within the nation of Israel. So I don't ever want to downplay any of that. But we also want to make our contribution and have some things of our own that, that's kind of homegrown that we can also play at our feast days. I don't know if you guys heard, we was playing a whole lot of, we had a True Nation heavy playlist. Yeah, all praise be to the Most High. All praise be to the Most High. And it was sounding good, man. It's been sounding really good, man. Really have a lot of good things going. So, man, just keep your eyes open for that True Nation compilation. And, Kabosh putting in work. Everybody else is putting in work with that. Indeed. All praise be to the Most High. Any other announcements? I know it got to be some kind of announcement. Yes, ma'am.
The garden.
The garden. Go ahead.